Well, thank
Hello
you.
and good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Let's learn about depression, anxiety recovery program. Today is Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026. This presentation is our guest speaker today is Sherry Elliott, who I am delighted to say that is also part of Seniors and Now. She is one of our key individuals in the outreach program. For some housekeeping rules, please mute your mic to block out any outside noise. The closed captioning button is on the bottom of your screen. Please place your questions and comments in the chat. However, we will be having a Q&A session at the end. And this session will be recorded and posted on Seniors NL website and our YouTube channel. Barb, can you go ahead and read the land acknowledgement, please?
Good morning, everyone. We respectfully acknowledge that the lands on which we live, work, and meet are situated on the traditional territories of the indigenous groups of Newfoundland and Labrador. And we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Micmac, Inuit, and Inuit of this province. We honor the diverse Indigenous peoples who have cared for this land for past generations and for the 7 generations to come. We are committed to listening, learning, and working in collaboration with Indigenous communities as we move towards reconciliation, respect, and mutual understanding. Let us carry this acknowledgement forward in our work, relationships, as we strive to create a future that respects and embraces the wisdom of older adults and the diversity of all communities.
Thank you. And Barb, I'll leave it up to you to introduce Sherry as well.
Okay. Sherry has been an employee of Seniors NL for the last 6 years. Her current position is an administrative officer along with resource management and community outreach and engagement support. Prior to Seniors NL, Sherry graduated from CNL and worked as a medical secretary with ophthalmology for a few years before changing careers to the fashion industry and graduated from Fanshawe College in London, Ontario, and eventually moved back to St. John's. She has worked in this industry with different companies over the past 25 years, where she performed visual merchandising, consulting with clients, selling, and supporting sales staff. Sherry developed a passion for helping people and became an advocate for mental health awareness. Through this journey, she learned about the Dr. Neil Nedley Community Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program. Her first step towards learning about this program was becoming a participant herself. The program had such a profound impact on her that she decided to train as a facilitator and became certified. She later advanced her training, became an associate director, and earned certification to promote the program within the community.
Thank you very much, Barb. And
You're
Sherry,
welcome.
I'm going to go ahead now and hand it over to you to begin your presentation.
Thank you, Catherine. Well, welcome everybody, and I'm glad that you're here to join me today as I present on the Nedley Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program. But first of all, I'm going to introduce who Dr. Neil Nedley is. Dr. Nedley is a medical director sorry, I just lost my screen there.
We still see it on our side.
I just lost it on my side. Just for a moment. Let me try that again. I pressed the wrong button, and that's what happens.
That's okay. It happens to all of us.
I'm going to stop share and share again. Sorry, people. Oh, no, I have it back.
No, we can't
Sorry.
see anything on our side. There we go. We see your slide now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Dr. Nedley is the founder and medical director of the community-based and residential Nedley Depression and Anxiety Recovery Programs. He is an award-winning physician and practices internal medicine in Weimar, California, and serves as the president of Weimar University. He's also a hospitalist at the local hospital in Auburn, Alabama. He also has authored books and given numerous seminars on mental health and the gut-brain connection, and has published numerous scientific studies in the medical scientific literature. He is well known as the author, a public speaker, and teacher throughout the world.
I remember of the name.
And about the community program, the Community Nedley Depression Anxiety Recovery Program is an 8-week mental health education program designed to improve the mental performance and promote a healthier lifestyle. Offering a holistic approach to enhancing the mind, the program, the benefits, those with or without depression and anxiety. It's comprised of 8 video sessions, followed by a facilitated group discussion. Family and friends and community members can attend the program to start their journey towards recovery. I'm just going to show to put depression into how should I say, to put depression into an idea of what people feel. I'm going to show this video. It's called I Had a Black Dog, and it's by the World Health Organization. This profound video can be used to bring awareness to depression and hope that those experiencing depression can experience through a variety of different modalities.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learnt not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to re-evaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
Wow, that video really puts what depression, how people feel about depression, because sometimes you can't describe it in words, is how you feel, and we can't read each other's minds. But I'm going to show you another introductory video. This is the 8-week anxiety depression program. Dr. Nedley explains what you can expect from this 8-week education program. You discovered evidence-based information, practical interventions, useful tools, supportive volunteer staff, and group accountability as you engage in this community health education course.
Welcome to the Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program introductory session. Today we're going to be talking about an exciting program that has been well documented in the scientific literature in lots of different analysis and studies. The brain is very amazing. In fact, it's so amazing it's the most complicated structure ever investigated by science. That means it's more complex than the space shuttle with all of its computers and systems. It's more complex than the most complex computer. It has 100 billion nerve cells made up of thousands of different types of cells, over 100 trillion synapses. This is the connections in just your 2.5-pound brain that makes the national debt even seem like a small number in comparison with these amazing connections that you have. And there's all sorts of different types of neurons. The brain can resiliently regenerate and rewire itself through neuroplasticity. That means we can change our brain's destiny once we learn how to harness this power. And that's truly amazing. No other complex structure can change itself. And by learning principles to be able to change, it always requires all sorts of outside help and interventions and never can do it by itself. But this neuroplasticity is what this program is based on. In other words, if the brain can change, which any human brain can, that means depression, anxiety, and mental illness can be eradicated, and we can live a very flourishing, positive life. And the brain can learn, retain, and apply knowledge gained over its lifetime. And this program is also based on learning and retaining and applying knowledge that can help our brain change for the better. So there are many disorders of the brain simply because the brain is complex. Any complex structure is going to have things go wrong with it. The space shuttle mission, engineers have stated on every mission there were things that went wrong with it. It was so complex. Sometimes things went very wrong, as we know in history, and very bad outcomes occurred. And so when we have a complex structure, we need to recognize things can go wrong with it. And so there are disorders of the brain. A mental illness is defined as a clinical diagnosable disorder that significantly interferes with a person's intellectual, emotional, or social abilities. So if it's interfering with your ability to learn, with your feelings and emotions and social abilities, it's a mental illness. And these mental illnesses have been increasing because the causes of mental illness have been increasing. Over 1 in 4 people around the world, approximately 2 billion, are living with a mental disorder. Just over 1 in 3 adults suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder in any given year in the United States. Over 44% of Australians aged 16 to 85 experience a mental disorder during their lifetime. And among adults, mental illnesses are now most common in the younger age group, 18 to 25-year-olds. In fact, if you're 13 to 18, that means you're not even an adult. 49.5% of 13 to 18-year-olds now have a diagnosable mental illness. That means it's almost more common to be normal these days than it is not to be. But fortunately, these things can be reversed. They don't have to be lifelong conditions. Mental illness is so common that you have to know someone with it if you don't have it, or even if you do. And so really, there's only 2 groups, those that have a mental illness and those who know someone with a mental illness. Some people have tried to correct me and say there's actually 3 groups, Dr. Nedley. There's another group that causes other people to have a mental disorder. But if you're in that group, you actually have a mental disorder because that's affected your social aspect of things. And so depression and anxiety, out of all the mental disorders, are the most common diagnosable mental disorders. And there's a lot of different refined diagnosis underneath these 2 that we will specifically deal with as part of this program, as well as common varieties of depression and anxiety. So how can I know if it's depression? The Psychiatric Bible defines it the same way I do in regards to the clinical symptoms together that make up depression. So let's take a look at those symptoms. The first one is deep sadness or emptiness. If you have any of these symptoms, I want you to consider investing in this program. It'll be well worth it if we can just rid you of one of these symptoms. But our data shows that we can rid you of many, if not most, of these symptoms. So if you have sadness, feelings of emptiness, if you have apathy or loss of interest, this is where you get up in the morning and you're not excited about the day. If that's happening more often than not, that is a significant symptom. If you're more irritable, or if you've noticed that your brain is slowing down, or if you've noticed that your body is slowing down, that's a symptom. Sleep disturbances. It may be that when your head hits pillow, you can't go to sleep. Your mind keeps going. That's called insomnia. Even more common is you're able to go to sleep, but then you wake up too early and can't get back to sleep. That is very common with depression, and the more severe the depression, the earlier you tend to wake up. Or what about if you're just wanting to sleep all the time? Hypersomnia is a sleep disorder. Any of those sleep disorders can be helped by getting to the root issues behind depression and anxiety. Weight or appetite changes. You might be overweight not because of what you're putting into your body, but because of your mental health. You might be self-medicating your depression with junk food. And just trying to get rid of the junk food is not enough. You have to get to the root cause of depression, and then you'll lose weight. Some people are anorexic and they can't gain weight, and they're underweight, and they're losing weight. If we correct the depression and anxiety behind it, then they'll come up to a nice normal weight. So weight or appetite changes on either side qualify. Lack of focus and concentration. If you're reading through something that's interesting to you and you've gotten to the bottom of the page and you can't remember what's at the top of the page, that is lack of focus and concentration. This program is for you. Fatigue. If you've run out of energy too early, or you wake up and you don't have enough energy, this program is for you. If you have feelings of worthlessness, that's a sign that you have depression and even irrational thinking. Because if you have any ability to be of use to yourself and others, you're clearly not worthless. But if you start thinking you're worthless, this program is very much for you. Or if you've had morbid thoughts where you're even thinking at times, I think I might be better if I just go to sleep and don't wake up. That's a morbid thought. Or if you're thinking and resonating with death or symbols of death. Now, you don't have to have all of those symptoms for depression. You have to have 5 of 9 to have a major diagnosable clinical depression. But even if you have 2 of 9, if it's not symptom 8 or 9, that's abnormal. That's minor depression, and you can also significantly benefit. Well, you may not have depression, but you might have anxiety. Anxiety is excessive fear or worry about a variety of topics, events, or activities. And this is very common among all anxiety disorders, is that you have this fear and worry. And you're going to have usually several of these 6 symptoms in addition to fear: feeling on edge or restless, where you feel wired, muscle aches or soreness. So many people have told us after they've gone through this program they're able to throw away their pain medicine, and all of their chronic pain conditions they thought were physical were actually due to the anxiety. And then the rest of the 4 symptoms are actually similar to depression: become fatigued and worn out, concentration problems, irritability, difficulty sleeping. And so any of those symptoms can be significantly improved and been well documented to improve by participating in the 8-week program that we're about ready to tell you about. Well, most commonly, these conditions and mental disorders are treated with medication. It's still the #1 treatment. Nature magazine actually highlighted a whole issue on depression, and they stated in a study conducted in real clinical settings, a common antidepressant produced a response in just under half of the participants and achieved full remission in only 28%. That's not very good for the #1 treatment, and that's why Nature magazine said we have to get outside of these traditional methods. They're not working all that well. And why is it that it's still #1? We need more treatment modalities. 5 decades of work on antidepressant drugs have not made them more likely to lift people out of depression. Medications and psychotherapies help some people with the disease, but fail many others. As an internal medicine physician, I was aware of this. I saw it in my patients. I saw in patients that I prescribed it to. I noticed they were also having side effects, and some of them actually quit taking the medicine without even telling me because they thought the side effects were worse than what they were dealing with. And I'm not against medicine. As a physician, I can prescribe it as well, and I do prescribe it for those that need it. But I recognize that this is not enough. Even traditional counseling along with medicine does not seem to be enough. So as an internal medicine physician, I went to how I was trained. How I was trained to help people was to find the cause of disease. And I had done that with heart disease, for instance, coronary artery disease, atherosclerosis. It can have multiple causes, and if we reverse those causes, the coronary arteries can open up just through nutrition and lifestyle measures. And I thought, could this be possible with mental illness as well? And I wasn't sure. And so I went to the scientific literature trying to find the causes of depression, and I began to find more and more causes that were reversible. And I found over 100 causes of depression and anxiety, most of which can be reversed or treated through simply education and health coaching. And as I began to look for which of these causes were active in each patient, then address those through education and coaching, I began to see dramatic improvements beyond my original expectations. I must admit, I was hoping to do maybe close to what medicine was doing, because I thought it's the #1 treatment, it's probably the best treatment. If I can get close to what medicine's doing, this would be good. But I began to be shocked when I saw improvements far beyond what traditional medicines would do in the vast majority of patients that I was treating once we found the underlying causes. So when people started dramatically improving, that it had depression and anxiety for life, coming to see me, they started telling everyone else in their community, and pretty soon all of my slots were filled up. And my workers were saying, you can't see every depressed and anxious person in this town. I was wanting to because I knew I could help them, but I just couldn't physically do it. And so they said, you need to let other people know about this. And so we wrote a book and we developed this program. And now over 10,400 people have gone through this program with documented before and after results, part of a research project on every inhabited continent. And it's exciting to tell you how well this program has worked, and I know it can work for you as well. What mental health conditions have been shown to be improved? You can see this entire list, all the different forms of depression, all the different forms of anxiety, even conditions that don't necessarily fit under anxiety and depression, like eating disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, addiction disorders. This program actually works better if you're addicted to something than if you go to a community addiction program. That's what the studies have shown. And even attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can improve by engaging in this program and finding the underlying causes. So expect transformative change. You might ask the question, well, what if I'm already under a healthcare provider's care? What if I'm already taking medicine? Is this something that's not for me? No, this is complementary. It works in addition to medicine. In fact, most people that come to the program were on medicine, and as a result of getting better, they were eventually able to be weaned off of their medicine, and they felt better without the medicine than they used to feel with it once they no longer needed it. So this is something where you need to continue to see your doctor. We're not telling you to stay away from your doctor. You need to continue to see your counselor, but this can work in addition in a complementary way to bring about that transformative change. The goal of the program is to empower you to make changes that will transform your life, and you will learn how to combat depression and anxiety using evidence-based interventions and therapies. Everything that we're telling you is evidence-based. In addition to addressing what you do with your body or put into your body, you will learn the gold standard of psychotherapy that can transform your thinking to be helpful and accurate. We don't just deal with the hardware of your brain and get your brain ready for neuroplasticity. We get it ready for transforming the software of your brain in regards to thinking helpful and accurate thoughts that will not only help you, but other people around you. So over 10,000 people so far have successfully completed the Nedley Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program in every continent except Antarctica. Over 7,000 of them had a form of depression. Over 6,000 of them qualified as having diagnosable significant anxiety. And of course, the others had other issues, or they were just there to optimize their brain, because even a normal person can experience brain optimization by getting the brain even more neuroplastic. Those with severe depression at baseline, 94.5% improved at least one category. So in other words, they were no longer severe in just 8 weeks. Now we call this program a 20-week program, but we start to see results significantly even before the 8-week point in 94.5%. Those with moderate depression improved, over 90% improved, and if you came with just mild depression, there was a very high likelihood supermajority that experienced zero depression. In other words, their depression was gone by the time the 8-week part was up, and over half of all depressed patients no longer qualified as having depression after 8 weeks. This is simply with health education and health coaching combined, using our volunteer staff that are compassionate and will help you through step by step. What about anxiety? Anxiety is known to be more difficult to treat than depression. It requires higher doses. It can be a significant lifelong issue if we don't deal with the underlying cause. And once again, over 94% came in with severe anxiety. Their anxiety scores improved significantly, down at least one category. Many also left with no anxiety. 89.8% with moderate anxiety improved, and if you came with mild anxiety, 85% chance you no longer had anxiety in 8 weeks. And even a greater percentage of anxiety patients had no anxiety 57.1% in just 8 weeks. That's even before the 20 weeks is done. Well, you can imagine that this is gratifying to recognize that this mental illnesses that are so common can be reversed and addressed in simple measures, and you can be in charge of your own destiny. What inhibits some from not taking advantage of educational or therapeutic programs? Many wonder, is it worth it? Because there's costs involved. You have to have books, and you have to do some things on your own and get materials and some tools to help you. When you consider the loss of $300,000 across the lifetime, the earlier you can get treatment, the better off financially you and your family will be. This is a study a number of years ago showing that if you have lifelong depression and anxiety, you are going to be $300,000 down during the course of your life than if you were able to treat that early and reverse it. Several $100s is the best investment if it gets rid of depression and anxiety and improves your emotional intelligence, what this program is also shown to improve your relationships, and increase your usefulness and employability. Scores of individuals have mentioned how their wages went up after this program because their emotional intelligence improved. They were getting raises. They were now being in charge. And what a difference it made in their life. And of course, they weren't having to struggle with depression and anxiety. So the number one regret of those who have gone through the program, we've analyzed this, is this quote: "I wish I would have known or would have done this earlier in my life, but I'm sure glad I did it now." And so no matter what your age, we've had people as young as 12 and people as old as in their 90s go through this program. And it's not age dependent whether you're going to improve or not. Sometimes the young people improve quicker because their brain is ready for more changes, but no matter what your age is, you can benefit from this. And then there's a bonus. The added bonus that we did not anticipate when we started this program was the improvement in emotional intelligence, which is influenced by heredity, family, whether you've had abuse or neglect, even your entertainment choices, your current level of social and emotional support, and physical factors, how well you're sleeping, what you're eating, whether you're exercising or not, and even how you're thinking and your thinking patterns. All of these things are addressed in the program, and we have documented significant improvement in emotional intelligence. That means improvement in your relationships, more effective work productivity, often results in greater employment and wage opportunities, increase in healthy motivation, which will result in greater accomplishments. Many people with anxiety and depression have lost their motivation, but when we improve their emotional intelligence, their motivation to do healthy things goes up, and they start having a better brain. So I encourage you to enrich your life with the Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program. There's incredible value in this program, which includes not only the educational presentations, but personalized depression, anxiety, and emotional intelligence level assessment. This is a risk factor analysis that is diagnostic that can screen for those over 100 causes to see which ones are active in you, and then you know exactly what to work on in order to reverse this. A very valuable test that will be taken pre and post so that you know also your improvement at 8 weeks and if there's other things that you can work on. You'll get program materials. You'll also get social support by our volunteer staff. Many of our volunteer staff have been where you have been. They have been through this program and they want to help others, and they'll be able to really identify with you. And last but not least, the program value is also the group and personal accountability. Story after story from Community Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program alumni share how they found personal accountability by being a part of the Depression and Anxiety Recovery community. Week after week, they discovered that they were more resilient than they ever knew and more capable of making positive lifestyle changes and sticking with them than they ever realized. My trained team is committed to helping you find strength and motivation week after week and are here to provide you that loving support wherever you are on your journey. You are more than a statistic. You are a deeply valuable individual with a story to tell and a future to explore. I know bad things have happened in your life, beyond your control. I get that. But while your journey is unique, you're also not alone. Around you are countless individuals who can resonate with your emotions and are unsure what hope, happiness, or recovery look like. Hope is not passing you by. The healthiest brain and body will bring you more happiness and fulfillment than what you can realize, I understand, at this point. But this is the decision-making point of the presentation. This is where you decide to continue to live the life the way you are now, and you already know what that looks like, and you know it can even get worse with the messed up world that we're in. Or you give yourself these 8 sessions with the certified coaches to help you become the best version of you possible. You will then be in control of your own destiny by the decision you make today. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Neil Nedley.
So as you can see, that was a very introductory video by Dr. Nedley, and he talks about what the 8 sessions and the statistics of people who went through this program. As is saying, the coaches, I'm one of the coaches. I've been through this program as a participant, and then as a facilitator teaching it, and now as associate director. From my personal experience, it do work. I'm going to introduce you. Dr. Nedley talked about the Depression Anxiety Assessment Test, and that is a test that you do in week 1 and then you do in week 8. And what is it? Well, let's explore. The Depression Anxiety Assessment Test, it tells your current level of emotional intelligence, one of the most important indicators of future success. It has a cause, determination section. It also determines if depression and/or anxiety is present and to what degree. It reveals risk factors that could be compromising for your mental health and what can be done to reverse the possible and to eliminate active factors. He also touched upon emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is what we know as EQ, is really a measure of characteristics which research has confirmed are very important to successful and enjoyable living. Individuals with high emotional intelligence understand their emotions and feelings and can express control and manage them. They usually have insights into feelings and views of others and more easily understand the dynamics of a group and their role within it. So here are the 5 basic components of EQ, or emotional intelligence. We have the knowing our emotions. We have to manage our emotions. We recognize or recognizing emotions in others, managing relationships with others, and motivating ourselves to achieve our goals. And that is especially true when there's change involved. In this course that you take, we talk about the different stages of change, and change is hard for people, but we go over that in this education program. How does the Depression Anxiety Assessment Test help you? Well, many risk factors can be reversed through nutrition. And in this course, he do talk in chapter 3 or session 3 is a big session on nutrition and how the gut and the brain relationship. Also lifestyle changes and learning how to think correctly and consistently. One of the risk factors, once the risk factors are eliminated, IQ and emotional intelligence can be significantly improved in time. This translates into you becoming more successful and opens up your ability to flourish in your career or prospective career or at home. That success not only in physical and mental health, but also in financial health and overall life satisfaction. This test, or the Depression Anxiety Assessment Test, that is why many people have stated that this test is the very best investment that they ever made in their entire lives. This test adds incredible value to this life-changing program because you can see how you have changed over the course of the 8-week education program. So like I say, you take it in session 1, and then you'll get the results. You take it again in session 8, and then you see your results. I taught a group last year, and in my group, we took this DAT test, we call it, or Depression Anxiety Assessment Test. And when they started, depression was 18. That was the average when they took the group as a whole. And they started off with their anxiety levels was 11, and their emotional intelligence, or EQ, was 96. So that's in session 1. When we came to session 8, which was the last session, anxiety went down to 10. Depression went down to 10, anxiety went down to 4, and EQ went up to 115. So at the beginning in session 1, remember, it was 18. Depression was 10. Anxiety, starting at the first session, was 11. After finishing the program, it went down to 4. And then in session 1 again, as a group, the EQ, or the emotional intelligence, was 96, and this has to increase. And sure enough, it increased to 115. So that's just one of the results we get at the end of this program, and you see the results yourself as you take it. This video is very short, it's about 2 minutes, of a participant who have taken the Depression Anxiety Recovery Program and how they benefit from taking this program.
It was around 2001. I woke up one morning and my head was like, it was like spinning in circles. My head felt like it was going to explode, and I was full of this rage. I remember later that first day, in this horrible state of mind, thinking, wow, if I had a gun, I'd probably kill myself.
10 years ago, I had surgery. I had complications, and I ended up going back to the surgery room 3 times. I felt like I was going into a hopeless case.
In the late 1990s, I got very, very depressed because I did not deal with things of my past. My mom had me when she was 17 years old. Eventually, she got married to my birth father, but it didn't work out between them. Not having, my father and, moving a lot, going back and forth in different, places, a lot of insecurity, abandonment issues. I always wondered, why didn't my dad want me? Why didn't he love me?
I knew I needed something, and then I heard about the Nedley Depression Anxiety Recovery Program, and it was like a little bit of a flicker of hope. Could there really be something could really help? And I was doubtful in reality.
I happened to see the brochure about this depression seminar, and I thought, hey, maybe I should try that one.
Life became much better as I applied all the different lifestyle changes. It makes a difference, not just how you feel, but what you're able to accomplish.
Whatever you wanted to share, you could share. And it just gives you encouragement.
You're able to talk to a professional person who truly understands what you're going through.
This money that you spend, it's a wealth of information that will help you change from the inside out. I would encourage anybody to go ahead and to do this program because it will give you hope.
It's invaluable. What you gain from it, you can't even put a price tag on. The healthiness, having friends again, having a life again.
And that was just a testimony of people who took this course and how they benefit from it. I'm going to go over the cost of the program now. But before I do that, I'm just going to let you know that if you do decide, or if you want more information of this 8-week education program, it's a lifetime membership. Once you have the materials, you can attend this program as an alumni over and over and over again. The only cost then would be if you choose to take the Depression Anxiety Assessment Test. You will receive materials as you make your payments. And initially, you will need to cover the costs of your workbook and your Depression Anxiety Assessment Test. The participant materials, you will have a book called Depression: The Way Out, and that's a reference book. What I have highlighted in yellow is the two main things you'll be using throughout your 8 weeks. Depression and Anxiety Recovery Program Workbook, Telling Yourself the Truth, SOS for Emotions, and that's another reference, your Depression Anxiety Assessment Test, and your Gratitude and Reflection Journal. So all this, including the test, our total cost is $100 tax in, and there's also payment plans available. As I was saying, your workbook, this is your workbook, which you'll mainly be using for the 8 weeks from session 1 to session 8. As I was saying, Depression and Anxiety Assessment Test, you take this in session 1 and you take it in session 8. There's also a gratitude journal reference book, so you can use this journal if you want to journal, or you can use your own paper, your own book, what you prefer, if you want to do it that way. But the main thing is we'll be using this workbook here. Also, Depression and a Way Out is another reference book with this program. This goes what we talked about in our workbook, but goes in more detail. We also have Help SOS, or Help for Emotions. And this talks about managing your anxiety, managing your anger, and managing your depression. And another one is called Telling Yourself the Truth as well. And these programs here, or I should say these books plus the test, 5 books plus the test, but the workbook is what you'll mainly be using right here, and also your DAT test. It's amazing with the DAT test too, and what the participants, from what they see in session 1 and what the results in session 8, it really shows how the program works. So I will be hosting one this year, and it's be here actually at the St. Luke's here, 24 Road Deluxe in Bab Manor here. It's going to start on April the 6th. It's going to end on May the 23rd. So it's every Monday night meeting here at Bab Manor for 7 to 9 p.m. We meet once a week on Monday nights for 8 weeks. The start date, like I said, is April the 6th. The end date, session 8, is May the 23rd. And of course, we have a graduation. And in this graduation, which is the following Monday, we learned, I told you about in session 3 of this program, the Nedley program talks a lot about nutrition in the brain. So in graduation, what we learn, the recipes that we learn for eating for the brain, we make and we bring as a potluck on that night. And we have our graduation, you have your certificate, and you have your Nedley gift. So like I said, there will be a free introductory session again on this on Monday, March the 9th and Monday, March the 16th at 7 p.m. here at Bab Manor. And if you like to know more about the program, the registration of this program, please email me. It's sharec@gmail.com, or call or text me 709-697-5414. Thank you so much today for listening. And if you want further information about this program, you can visit the nedleyhealth.com.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for the presentation.
Oh, thank you, Catherine.
I'm going to open this up right now to all of our audience if they have any questions. We did have 2 questions during registration, and I actually have a couple of questions for you as well.
Sure thing.
So before I actually read the questions that I have, and there's one in the chat, would anybody like to take themselves off mute and ask Sherry a question?
Everyone had a
It's Noreen. I have a
excellent
question.
presentation. Excellent.
I actually had 2 people talking at the same time. Thank you so much, but I didn't hear a thing.
Okay, can I speak?
Absolutely.
I don't have a question. I give my questions. I work with Sherry, but I just want to say it's an excellent presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noreen, do you have a question?
Well, a sort of a question and a comment, but just a wonderful presentation. And for those who don't know, I live in Labrador, so I'm thinking of many of my clients and seniors. So I am thinking to get the most out of the program. Of course, it's an in-person program.
And that was one of
Yes,
my
it is.
questions, so thank you.
Yeah. Just to answer that, but in person and online. I have done it online in the past too, especially when COVID hit. We did a lot of this online. And we also, we do it in person. Hopefully, you never know, in the future we may do hybrid, but for now we are doing it in person. But again, you can get trained in your region as well if you want to promote the community Nedley program.
Yeah, again, because again, I say that because we live in Labrador, and of course, as we're far from resources at many times and don't have a whole lot of availability to some resource. We have a great mental health department, but yes, I hear you.
And Noreen, also you can visit the Nedley Health. I'll just show you here now, the nedleyhealth.com, and that will explain if you or someone in your region would like to train and put off this program and the particular training that you can get. That's also a resource you can look at as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The question that I have, when will it come on as online?
When it will come on, for now, we have decided, my team and I, that we're doing it in person. And the reason why is that more people get beneficial and accountability when you hold it as a group. But in the future, we may to go across all Newfoundland and Labrador or the world. In that case, we probably will be doing it hybrid, which is in person and online. But for this year, for the 226 group, for St. John's and surrounding areas, we are be doing it in person.
Okay, so I know that we're on the virtual questions right now, so I just kind of want to reiterate or ask the question again to make sure that me personally fully understand.
Sure
So
thing.
there is no option to actually register to do and take the course online. There's only the option to register to basically get trained to facilitate.
If you want to, that's correct, Catherine. If you want to take this program, or if you want to put off a program, you can go to the Nedley website and be trained. But as of now, I am offering an in-person only in the St. John's and surrounding areas.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And if anybody I know the course is not open, virtually across the province, but if anybody wanted the resources.
Oh, nedleyhealth.com. It's all the resources there. And if you still want to talk or any more resources, contact me and I will definitely give you some more resources. Not a problem.
Okay. And when you register for the course itself, you get all 5 of these books along with the test.
That's correct.
The DAT test.
The DAT test. That's correct.
Plus the 8 weeks.
Plus the 8 weeks. And plus a graduation.
And plus a graduation. That's right. That's right. Forgot about the party at the end.
And a gift. And a gift from the Nedley program. Gifts are always fun. Gifts are always fun.
They are.
Yeah. And for registration, there is a registration. If you want to avail of this program, contact me and we'll set you up with the registration process. There is a little bit of your name, your address, and all that on it, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else like to take themselves off mute to ask Sherry a question? No? Okay. So first of all, I'm going to read the question that's in the chat. It says, can you describe the steps you take to support people to benefit from this program? It's 2 questions, so I'm going to ask 1 question at a time, okay, for the chat?
Sure thing.
So I'll repeat it one more time.
Repeat the first part of the question.
Can you describe the steps you take to support people to benefit from this program?
The steps that I would take was participate, join the program, go through the steps that we go through. That will prepare you.
Okay. Second part of that question is, what process do you go through with the people who look for support to alternative their depression, anxiety, etc.?
What process? We go. It's hard to explain that because you will see it in the course from session 1 to session 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You go through that process. There's support there too. If you're feeling, for example, in my past when I've taught, I had a lady who was gun ho, I say at session 1, but felt couldn't attend session 2 or session 3. But then as a coach, I would call him or I would call her and we can chat about it and how we can make things better for you. I hope that explains it. I hope that answers that lady's or that gentleman's question.
Okay. Again, I'll just pose it there. If anybody has a question, you can certainly take yourself off mute. You can place it in the chat and I'll be happy to read it out for you. We did have 2 questions during registration. I believe you've already answered them, but I'm still going to go ahead and ask these questions.
Sure. Yep.
What is the duration of the session? I'll answer. It's an 8-week session.
And 9 weeks when you graduate. That's 9 weeks.
Is there any cost? Yes, it's $100.
It is. And I like to just go over that again, Catherine. I'm going to go back to my slide there. It is $100 tax in, and payment plans are available. Just contact me. And again, you'll have your workbook. You'll have your DAC test. You have your reflection journal. You have this book, Depression: The Way Out, SOS for Emotions, and Telling Yourself the Truth. I hope that answers your question, Catherine. That part of the question?
It did actually, because the last portion of that was, will there be materials provided? And absolutely there will be.
Yep, all that is provided. Everything.
And we do have a comment. It's not so much a question, but it's just a comment. And, you know, I think a lot of us feel this way. So I'll say that before I read this comment out.
Sure thing.
It said, the person has said, I have felt so much more anxiety since COVID. And I want to learn more about anxiety and depression because I don't know if that is what's happening to me. And, you know, when COVID hit us, I think, you know, we all had to change the way that we were thinking and feeling. Exactly. And then when restrictions were lifted, now we're into the new phase again, the new reality, our new world. So you know what? I think a lot of us feel that way. Whoever wrote that, myself included.
Yeah, that is true. And I find that if you don't know what is happening to you, if you participate in this course and you remember, I'm just going to go over that slide again, Catherine, talking about the depression anxiety assessment test. This one here and how it can help you. Risk factors, it shows you in session 1, and if you take it in session 8, I may take it, Catherine, you may take it, but when we get the results from that, it'll tell you what you need to work on. I need to work on maybe more so my anxiety, or if another person may have to work on this for the depression. But that test is yours and yours only. Only you see the results. And through this 8-week course, you can work on that for you. And also tells you what level you are at as well. I hope that answers and thank you for that comment, for the person who brought that comment in there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back to our questions there. A lot of court. There you go.
Absolutely. And they were the 2 questions. One question was a 3-parter. But I mean, they were the questions, comments that we had during registration. That was some of the questions I wrote down as you were going through your presentation. And our question in the chat has been answered. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
And like I said, you can always if you don't have any questions now, you can always contact me, sharec@gmail.com, or you can call or text me anytime, 709-697-5414.
Thank you so much. We will be following up. We will be following up after the session as well, because the session is recorded. It will be posted online. And if there are any other additional material that Sherry would like to provide ahead of time with information, links, or telephone number, again, we will be following up with everybody who registered in an email to provide you that as well.
Thank you.
So a reminder to everybody on what Seniors in L does and how we help. We have 3 different departments. We have information and referral, walk-in service through walk-in service, phone, and email, and a variety of topics. We have such topics that we have and we provide information on would be grief and bereavement, elder abuse, financial, and we also have some tax clinics that's coming up. So please make sure that you do view our latest news bulletin that went out yesterday. We also have community outreach and engagement, which is myself and Team Online. We provide a wide range of presentations such as this, virtually and in person. If anybody would like to have a presentation in your area and you would like to have a guest speaker, by all means, you can reach out and be more than happy to start doing some networking and research to connect you up with that or those individuals. And of course, if you'd like to suggest a topic for an educational session, I am all ears. My email address is outreach@seniorsnl.ca. You could also give you want to go back to the other slide, Sherry, please? Thank you so much. You could also give our main number a call and ask to be transferred over to me. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation. We also have social prescribing, SP for short, and these are link workers. These are individuals that are working with our NL Health Services family care teams. And social prescribing is the means of connecting individuals to a range of non-clinical services in the community to improve their health and well-being. So the social prescribing and the link workers are an arm of Seniors NL. If you do not have a link worker, don't worry. We are here to support and provide you all the information. You want to go ahead? We are having another session this afternoon at 2 o'clock. So if anybody would like to join by Zoom, please do so. It's Let's Learn About Brain Health and Dementia, and that's going to be the NeuroBridge MUN program. This one here was originally canceled due to one of our many snowstorms. And then on March 3rd, we have a tea and talk, which is Be Prepared for an Emergency at Home, Shelter in Place by the Red Cross. And again, this one actually is rescheduled because of another snowstorm. So I hope that we will be able to see some of your lovely faces on the next couple of sessions coming up. Before we end today's session, does anybody, again, have any questions, comments? Would you like to take yourselves off mute?
Thank you for this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Noreen, so much.
You're very welcome.
If anybody would like to reach out to Seniors NL, our email address is info@seniorsnl.ca. Our toll-free number is 1-800-563-5599. Our web address is www.seniorsnl.ca. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
This afternoon's session, I've got a prior commitment. That's being recorded, so would I just go to YouTube?
Yes, and no. There's a couple of different options. So yes, it will be recorded. It will be posted on the Seniors NL website underneath YouTube videos. And you can also do a search on YouTube. If you register for the session this afternoon, once it's over and the video is posted, I'll be sending out all the follow-up email just like this one with the video link so you can access it. And I could actually get your email address if you like from this session, and I can email you that even if you don't register because you've asked for it.
I registered for it yesterday, but then I realized I've got a class the same time from Queens, right?
Absolutely. You're covered. I got you covered. I'll send you all the details when we're done this afternoon.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, Catherine.
No, you're taking control. So there we go. So I just want to say thank you, Sherry, for the presentation. I know I learned a lot. And I do hope that we have some individuals on the call that will take advantage of the information that you provided, along with many more for when they view the recording online.
But you would have my email address to the to this right here now when you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, you're very welcome. And just to be on the safe side, I'll email you right after this presentation just so we can confirm I have your information.
Okay, thank you.
If you don't hear from me in the next 10 minutes, give me a call.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
And thank you, Carrie Bradbury, as well. for your comment in the. She says so much great information. Thank you all so much. You're very
Okay.
welcome. Have a great day, everyone. It's a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Bye.